You're going to be a much higher educated consumer. So when you do talk to these brokers, you won't sound like a newbie and they will take you seriously. Hello and welcome. My name is Gino Barbaro, one of the co-founders of Jake and Gino. And in this how-to video, we're going to be discussing how do you find deals in multifamily. Now, the market is starting to shift. It's taken a while. Pricing is down about 25% at the peak of 2022. And the question is, where are the deals? And more importantly, how do you find deals in multifamily? Now, there are two specific ways or reasons or things how multifamily differs from residential. The first one, and most importantly, is how do you find deal flow in commercial versus residential? Now, in commercial, it's all broker driven. If you're looking for larger assets, if you're looking for the 4 and 5 units and the 10 units, you can still find them on Zillow, possibly an MLS. But the commercial assets, 10 units and larger, they are all broker driven. They're cultivated by the brokers. The brokers have them, and you have to go out and make relationships with brokers. If you don't, it's going to be very difficult to find deal flow, especially over the last few years when the market was really hot and brokers had these listings. Before the broker has to go online, create a marketing package, spend all that time and effort, if he's got a really good listing and he has a list of, let's say, 100 buyers, he or she is going to go to that list of buyers and going to present it to them first. And during a down market, like we had in 2012, 2013, 2014, and even now, it's starting to happen now, those buyers didn't like the pricing. They didn't think the asset was great. So what ended up happening? It goes and gets put on sites like LoopNet, Crexi, auction.com. It gets put on those sites. But if you really want to get deal flow, you really need to understand it's not the residential market where there's a Zillow and you go online. Residential is great because you go online, you can see all the properties being sold. They're all over the place. You get market data. It's phenomenal. Not with multifamily. And if you do, by that time, that deal has been looked over hundreds of times. It's gone to everybody who's serious about buying a deal, and then it ends up on LoopNet. Now, that being said, when Jake and I started, our very first 4 deals were all found on LoopNet. And it was that part of the market cycle where the brokers had them, they shared them to their lists. Nobody wanted to invest in these assets, so the brokers ended up putting them on LoopNet. Now, what I would do to be able to find these deals, go on LoopNet, go on Crexi.com. By the way, we have a great offer with Crexi.com. They have an amazing software, an amazing platform. It's one of the ways that if you want to not use brokers, you can go online and you can start doing your research through Crexi, their software. They've got a great platform. They're really competing with CoStar. Their pricing is superior to CoStar. But what I like about Crexi is we have somebody named Sean who will onboard you, who will take your hand and say, hey, this is how you use our platform. And their platform has amazing data. They've actually partnered up with a title company. So now, I'm excited about this. They've got all the debt on properties. So if you're looking properties who's having debt expiring after a year or 2 years, you can start targeting those assets. You can start targeting assets that have very little debt as well. Those are the mom and pops who've held these properties for a long time. They have a lot of equity. So if you want me to connect you with Sean, I'm also going to have it down below in the show notes as well. He's got a QR code. Schedule a call with Sean and say, hey, I'm part of the Jake and Gino community. You've got this great offer. Tell me more about it. That's what you want to do. And the reason why you want to use Crexi.com or any other platform, I know it costs money, but it's just an investment in your business. When you talk to these brokers, platforms like Crexi have a lot of data. They have a lot of information on the properties. They have comps. You can do your market research, see what's going on. So when you go on and you talk to a broker, you're not going to be stumbling and fumbling and saying, hey, I want 8 caps in this market. When the market really is trading at a 5 cap. When you think that 2 bedrooms should be trading for $1,600 a month in rent, but really they're $1,400 a month in rent. You're going to be a much higher educated consumer. So when you do talk to these brokers, you won't sound like a newbie and they will take you seriously. Now, Jake and I wish we had this early on. We didn't have this type of data when we started, but I see the advantages to now because that is the best way in multifamily to get deals. Now, I had said there's 2 differences between commercial and single family. Now, let me get into the second one before I wrap this lesson up. The second one is all about financing. When you're buying a single family home, you're getting a 30-year amortization for the most part, a 30-year fixed rate loan, maybe a 25-year, maybe even a 15-year, but it amortizes over that amount. You have scheduled payments every single month, and after 30 years, let's say over 30-year amortization, it's self-amortizing. At the end of that 30th year, boom, you've paid it off. The word amortization, amort, means to die in French. So you've killed that loan. It's done. In commercial loans, you may still have that 25-year amortization or 30-year amortization, but the vast majority of them have terms, and the term can be either 3 years. I remember when we started, we got on our second deal, we got a 3-year term. It was dangerous. We didn't know what we were doing. Fortunately, after year 2, we were able to refinance out of that. But it's either a 3-year term, 5-year term, 7-year term, 10, 12. You're paying it. It's amortizing over 30 years, those payments. They're the same. Let's say they're $2,000 a month. They're coming in every month. But at the end of 5 years, one of two things happens. That loan either balloons and you owe all that amount right then and there. You're either going to have to sell or refinance. Or it goes to a rate where it starts to, it's not fixed anymore, that rate. That rate will go to prime plus whatever. So right now, if you're at, let's say, a 3% interest rate that you got 3 years ago, and your term is due in the next year and it comes due, your rate may jump to 8 or 8.5 or even 9%. So be aware of that. There's terms on these commercial loans, and that is a big difference. So the first one we really focus on this lesson is, hey, deal flow. How do we get deal flow? Let's talk to brokers. Let's get on their lists. And one simple way, just Google multifamily brokers. What market are you in? Let's say you're in Nashville. You'll see a bunch of them pop up. You need to opt into their lists. Start getting into their lists, start contacting them, and start waiting for them to send you some deal flow. You start getting offering memorandums. And this is another great reason why you should go on Crexi's website. Go to Crexi.com. You'll start getting deal flow immediately. They are one of the biggest platforms as far as getting listings on their platforms. Go on there. You'll see all the brokers in a specific market. They'll have the offering memorandum there. You probably have to sign a confidentiality agreement. Click on that offering memorandum. Boom. Download it into your inbox. And guess what? You've got a broker there. Make the connection with the broker. Get on their list. Because right now, brokers are hungry. It was easier for them over the last couple of years to get listings and to turn and burn. Transaction volume was great in 2022. 23 and 24, it's taken a big nosedive. So this is your opportunity right now. If you're thinking, hey, the market's terrible, sentiment is terrible, there are no deals, it's really rough out there, we're going into a recession, parse out all that noise. Focus on the opportunity. The opportunity now is brokers are going to call you back. They're going to take you seriously because they didn't have to a couple of years ago. And good for them. They were selling like crazy. But now times have changed. This is why it's important that you start focusing right now on getting into multifamily and creating these relationships. So once again, use sites like Crexi. Join mentorship groups. If you want to learn more about Jake and Gino, hit me up, 865-800-3905. And more importantly, email me, gino@jakeandgino.com, and I'll send you a PDF copy of our book, Wheelbarrow Profits. So go to events. Go to seminars, use LoopNet, use Crexi. These are certain ways that you can get on and start getting deal flow. And what I love about it, when you join a mentorship group like ours, there are already thousands of investors on there. And as you start diving into multifamily is a team sport. Jake and I started out by ourselves, the I'm a guys. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. As we started to expand, we needed more people on our team. Multifamily is a team sport. You could be great at the operations. You could be great at capital raising. You could be great at investor relations, asset management, whatever it is. Find your strength. Go out there, join a team. But once again, it all starts with deal flow. And how you get deal flow is by connecting with brokers in your market, leaving a great impression, and start creating rapport with them. Now, I'm going to leave you with a homework assignment because I think this is really important. I started reading, for some reason, I saw it on my bookshelf, and it was Dale Carnegie's book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. And I started reading it, and the simplicity of that book. And what I love about Dale Carnegie's book, all of the gurus out there today, we're all looking at all these old writings, whether it's Psycho-Cybernetics, whether it's Zig Ziglar, whether it's Napoleon Hill, and Dale Carnegie's another one of them. They've all taken the content out and repurposed it for their own. Go directly to the source. Go listen to Dale Carnegie. His book is amazing. Once you start using the foundation that he created to start creating, that rapport with brokers, everything will change in your business. I promise you. Leave a comment down below. Let me know if you've read Dale Carnegie's book. Let me know what you think about it. And if you haven't, give me a thumbs up down below. Say, Gino, it's on my list. Let's talk about Dale Carnegie and how we can start building a rapport with brokers. It's important. Listen, if you love the show, please subscribe to the Jake and Gino channel. Give me a big thumbs up, and I will see you on next week's How To. Take care, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed today's video, be sure to like and subscribe so you'll never miss another episode.